Hello and welcome! This character profile video is for the class Lotus, and what you'll see is all of her skills, the top 8 PVE and PVP skills that I recommend, her skill combos, enhancements, player card, and a gameplay video. So, without further ado, I give you the class Lotus. Here we go. And welcome to the skills slide. If you are new to my character profile videos, allow me to introduce the interface. On the left hand side is all of her skills. On the far right hand side is all the specials that go with these skills. And then the column CD is the cooldown for each skill. And then charges is how many times you can use the skill. And then the column hits is how many times that skill will hit a creature or opponent. And then damage-PVE is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against a creature in the world. And damage-PVP is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against another player's character. And of course you have the passive at the bottom. So a few things to mention while you're looking at this. If you look at, well, how about the skills column? You see that the word crescendo is colored orange, and that is because it connects to the passive. I really didn't color it very well, but take my word for it, crescendo has a lot to do with what happens with your passive. And over on the special side, you'll see words that are colored in red, mostly super armor, and then in the passive, immune to stun when running. These mean that it doesn't apply in arena. So if you go into the arena in the game and you're expecting this stuff to work, it won't. But everywhere else in the game, it will. And it will perform flawlessly. So take a moment to look at everything on this slide, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the top 8 PVE skills that I recommend. Here we go. And welcome to the PVE slide. So what I've done is I've taken all the skills and I've organized them according to the column of damage-PVE, from the highest percentage at the top to the lowest percentage at the bottom. And if you're wondering why there's a section colored in green, that is because we can only take 8 skills into the world at a time. So these are the ones that I recommend because of the highest percentage of damage that they do. And it looks like Blooming Divide is your highest damaging skill. So let's see, what else can we go from this? Oh yes, you don't have to just stick with what's colored in green. Like I said, this is a recommendation. Crescent Moon below it is a good skill, as well as Crescendo because it connects to the passive, and also Invigorate. So you're free to use any of these skills. I highly recommend you get comfortable with all of them, and this is a good start to use what's in green and then move on to what is your playstyle. So once again, take a moment to look at all this, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the PvP slide where there is much to cover. Here we go. And welcome to the PvP slide. So what I've done is I've taken all the skills and I've organized them according to the column of damage-PVP, with the highest percentage at the top all the way to the lowest percentage at the bottom. And Blooming Divide continues to be your highest damaging skill. So everyone always asks, what skills that have super armor can I use in arena and outside of arena? And I do want to stress this. Every character has their pluses and minuses, or their strengths and weaknesses is more what I should say. And for Lotus, this is one of her weaknesses. She doesn't have a lot of options for super armor you can use in arena as well as outside. She only has one. And maybe there's something in the enhancements you can unlock to change a forward guard into a super armor. We'll have to see about that, so you'd have 2. But for now, it looks like Blood Moon is that skill. So don't worry about it. This woman has a lot of tricks up her sleeve, and she is definitely worth your time. So that is covered. The next thing is well, let's see. Everything else is good. I'm gonna go over the passive, and it's pretty easy, honestly. If you look at it, it says flowers remaining scent. And what this means is when there's two things that happen to activate her passive. When she's attacked, all skill damage gets a plus 15% boost for 5 seconds. And the other way that her passive activates is to simply use your skills 3 times to activate the passive for 15 seconds. Quite honestly, if you do this right, it's almost like she can always have her passive on, and that's pretty good. That's one of her strengths. So let's read what you get when the passive is active, and that is immune to stun when running, and that is, as we said before, in the gameplay world, not in arena. So just know that, that's good. Maybe in the guild events, this will be okay because it just calls out arena, so you'll have to check that out. But also, PvP damage dealt is 10% more, but what you receive is minus 10% taken. So this is good. You're dealing more damage and you're taking less damage when this passive is active. Your damage against monsters is 15% higher, so she's really good at dealing out the damage. And here's where we connect the skill Crescendo. You can hold Crescendo for an additional attack. Hold the skill button down, and the skill damage is 100% more when your passive is active. And you can use the skills, any of your skills, 3 times to extend the duration. So as I guessed, it looks like your passive could remain with you for quite a while, and this is really, really good because you could just crank out the damage. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna call up a video that shows what it looks like when your passive is active. So let me cue that up for you. Here we go. Okay, here we are, and I always love to zoom in on the characters and see what their battle stances are like, and hers is pretty nice. I kind of wish they would have her look a little more up and straight. She's kind of looking at the floor, but that's fine. So we are here, and we're going to pick on these two guys to show what the passive looks like, and quite honestly, you just choose any 3 of your skills. Not the basic attack, but any of the named skills that we have here. That didn't help either, because Blade Mastery is in that list as a named skill. All the specials, not the standard skills. And there's 3, and there you go. Just like that, this is what it looks like when your passive is active. So get a good look, because when you play her, you're gonna see this glowing pink aura on you a lot. So what we're gonna do now is just try it one more time. Kind of went a little fast. So that's 1 skill, that's 2 skills, and there's 3. So there you have it. And now we're just gonna have some fun. Let's go ahead and put her in the center of the arena, and we're just gonna let loose. I really like the visuals for Lotus. I always have. If you like pink or just the sound and the visual of the effects, I think they did a really good job. Yeah, the sounds definitely. So now that we are done having our fun, let's go ahead and return back to the PvP slide. Here we go. And welcome back. So now that you know how the passive works and have a good idea, take a moment to look at everything that's on this slide, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is her skill combos. Here we go. And welcome to the skill combo slide. Before we begin, let me tell you where you can find this. If you're in gameplay and you bring up the menu and you look all the way over to the far right where it says skills, you tap on that and now you're on the skills screen, and you go to the middle and down, you'll see a magnifying glass with a circle around it, and you'll see the words skill combos. Just tap on that and you will bring up this screen, the list of skill combos. What I've done is you're gonna have to scroll up and down to see everything, so I put everything on one screen so that you can print it out or put it on another monitor and practice all the combos that PA is giving you. Just if you're like, I have no idea how to do combos with her, this is a good starting point. And by the way, if you're gonna print it out, please use black and white because, well, this is a little heavy on the ink, and yeah, you'll have a very blue picture when it's done. So, okay, now that you know how to get there and now that you have this up, let's take a look at it. I honestly wanted to always give you like a 4-hit combo or something, and we did talk about Lotus's strengths and weaknesses. Here is another one of her strengths. She has unlimited combo ability. She can combo for days, because if you look, well, I should explain. On the left hand side in blue is the skill that you would start with, and then the chain into the next skill in gray. And if you look at all of them for gray, it's either Blooming Divide or Crescent Moon. Now, if you look at the bottom right corner where it says evasion, like if you evade, there is a charge shot, but it goes nowhere. After you do your charge shot, which is, I think, using the bow and arrow, there's really nothing you can, combo into that. I don't even see it. So, here's what I mean. If you take Crescendo at the top left corner, and then the next skill is Blooming Divide, which is over to the right in blue, and then from Blooming Divide it goes down and to the left to Crescent Moon and back to Blooming Divide, and you could combo Blooming Divide and Crescent Moon for days. It just never ends. Or you can swap into Chaos to Crescent Moon and Wind Slicer to Crescent Moon. You can start to see how this is never ending. So take a moment to look at all this, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, the enhancement slide. Here we go. And welcome to the enhancement slide. So there is a lot to cover on this slide, so let's just go ahead with the basics. If you are new to the layout of this slide, allow me to introduce its interface. On the left hand side is all of our skills. On the far right hand side is the branch damage connected to these skills, and then there's 4 columns in the center. The first column, the second column going left to right, and the fourth. So first, second, and fourth are things I try to make happen for Lotus. The third column, I try to make it things that happen to the creature or the player's character that you are fighting. So it's negative things that happen to them, and columns 1, 2, and 4 are positive things that happen for you, for your Lotus. So that is the first thing. The second thing is I really want to explain better each time how these enhancements work. If you went to gameplay and you went and bring up the pause menu, you went to skills, and now you're looking at the skill screen, and you tap on one of the skills and you see the icon over to the left, and you see these other little icons or circle like bubbles around it. Those are enhancements that make the skill better. So what I mean is, if you look at Wind Slicer, there's two circles around it. One that will inflict 60 damage every 1 second for 3 seconds. That's the bleed effect. And another one that does plus 20 attack for 10 seconds on hit. So now that you know that you can enhance this skill, so once they need to be unlocked, so once they're unlocked, every time you use Wind Slicer, this bleed effect will happen and you'll get more attack. So the goal is to unlock all of these enhancements so that you can see the full potential of Lotus. Alright, now that you got that, there's one more thing. If you are looking at these enhancements and you notice a red number that's to the bottom right corner of it, what that means is you need to find these skill books. So let's go back to Wind Slicer. If you have, say, a red number 2 for the bleed effect, that means you need to get skill books for Wind Slicer up to level 2, and you will be able to pay silver and unlock the bleed enhancement for this skill. And how do you do that? Well, when you are farming creatures in the world of Elion or Hadum, in Elion you just farm them and you'll get these skill books, and you pay the silver to learn them, and you're increasing all of your skills. It is random, but you just got to keep at it. To give you an example, if it was a number 2 for bleed, then I'd say you just need roughly 2 skill books for Wind Slicer and you'll be able to unlock it. Don't quote me, it could be 3, but that's a ballpark of how much you should need. So in Hadum, when you fight and farm creatures, in treasure chests will be higher level skill books with more experience. So you kind of want to stride to get to Hadum and do your farming there, and you will just over time increase all of your skills up, and you'll be able to pay the silver and unlock all of these enhancements. Now some of them don't need a level, you just pay the silver and it's unlocked, so you'll have to check it out. But that's how this works. So just looking at what she has, she's got a lot of bleed effects. When you damage them, you can inflict more damage. I mean, she's got skill cooldowns to be much faster. Oh, I should explain. If you look at the skill Blooming Divide, it's towards the middle and a little bit down, and all the way over to the right where it says heal 120 HP per hit. The word heal is colored differently. What this means is the heal will work everywhere you are in the game except the Path of Glory. When you're in Path of Glory, she won't heal herself when she uses Blooming Divide. So just be aware that it's honestly no big deal. There's a lot of mechanics in there that she can auto heal herself. So just be aware that's what that means. So take a moment to look at everything that's on this screen, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next one, which is the player card. Here we go. And welcome to the player card. If you're familiar with my character profile videos, then you know that anytime you see a video out of a character that you're interested in, you can always come over here to the player card. If you don't have much time, you can print this out. Once again, probably black and white would be best. You know, there's a lot of colors going on. But you can see everything that we just covered and some more stuff. So it's like a baseball card. So at the very top is all of the top 8 PVE and PVP skills that I recommend. And to the right of that is something new. It's called Immobilization. Anytime that you have a skill that knocks a creature or opponent down, knocks them up in the air, stun, freeze, anything like that, they're immobilized and they need to spend time to get up. And in that time, you can get in another attack, maybe 2. This is very important. So what you're looking at is that all of our skills that are green have an immobilization, and red they don't. So Blade Mastery and is your standard attack, and that makes sense. There's no immobilization skill with it. It's just a regular standard attack, and Invigorate is your healing component to stay in the fight longer, so there won't be an immobilization with that. But everything else, this is another one of her strengths, is she's got 2 skills that have 2 immobilizations. Why is this important? I will explain as we get further down this player card. You have the skills below it, we already covered that, and then the enhancements, we were just there, so you know how that works. Then there's a legend for what is not applied in Path of Glory, like the heal, and what is not applied in Arena, like all the super armors. And yeah, I don't have it, but in the passive, it's immune to stun when running. For the passive, that right there doesn't work in Arena, so my apologies. Now, if you're wondering what does forward guard and super armor mean, here's the definitions for you. Forward guard. This means that incoming damage will either be 0 or heavily reduced. So you're like, I still don't get it, man. I don't. But you have a forward guard. It's for your skill Retaliation. And the way it works is if my character is in front of you and you're just standing there and use Retaliation and your forward guard is now active, any attack that I do directly at you, or maybe if I'm off to the right or left side, directly at you, this will happen. My damage will either be 0 or heavily reduced to you. So if there was a laugh, you could laugh. Hey, nice try. It's like having an invisible shield in front of you. But if I get behind you and start attacking you, all bets are off and the forward guard doesn't work. So you always want them in front of you. Now, super armor. This is a standard thing for everyone who does PvP. They always make sure to rotate their super armor in, and this is why. It means that incoming damage will be reduced, and the effects that immobilize you, like stun, knockdown, freeze, etc., will not happen for a duration of time. Okay, so what this means is that if I am using Lotus and I'm using Retaliation and Blooming Divide and a few other skills, I'm throwing as many immobilizations that I can at you, and your super armor is protecting you from it. So what I'm betting on is that if I throw enough of these at you, your super armor will time out, I'll get one in, and knock you down. And when that happens, I could get in another hit, or maybe another 2 hits, and that really can turn the tide of a battle. So this is why immobilization is important. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, the music is gonna change. We're gonna go into the gameplay video where we show you what Lotus can do. Here we go. And welcome to the gameplay video. So before we begin, let us show you where we're at. We're over here in Balanos, and we're at Kron Castle entrance. We're here, well, because their CP is that low and our CP is this high in the bottom left corner. So the way that this works is we will use this auto path. We will have Lotus fight for about 2, maybe 3 minutes, at which time we will go to town. I'll give my outro and say thank you. So without further ado, I am pleased to present to you the class Lotus. Here we go. about time for us to head back to town. There we go. While the loading screen is coming up, allow me to say thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like the videos on this channel, please subscribe, like, let people know I am always making more videos, and there is so many more videos left to do. So for Lotus and her video, she is caught in the Halloween theme for the year. So that's why all the pumpkins and special stuff. So what we normally do is we zoom in and just put her in a pose. Well, let's move her a bit. There we go. That looks good. And zoom in. And what we normally also do is have her give a wave, maybe do the clap, but I'm kind of searching for where they put that button. I think it's over here to the right, next to the potion. Ah, there it is. And here we go. Okay. How about her clap? Yeah, we may have her just do that all again. So, once again, thank you very much for watching this video, and you have yourself a great day. Take care. Wave goodbye. Oh, one more time. Take care. Have a good one. Bye now.